Aren't you going with the
Oh, yeah, for Chicago.
already Chicago?
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, I don't get out much.
The big city. Oh, it's those that are rotary fun, huh? But you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Taking your paper.
No. Yeah.
There you go.
Part it down a little.
Joe, are you ready? Good evening, everyone. I would like to call to order the Roscoe Village Board meeting. It's Tuesday, September 16 at 6:30. Shall we stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call, please.
Babcock,
Here.
Rhoda,
Here.
Mead,
Here.
Clock,
Here.
Simon,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Gustafson.
Here.
Thank you.
Item number 1, may I have a motion to approve the minutes from our September 2nd meeting?
I have a couple questions on, okay.
Is the procedure a motion and a
I
second?
mean, normally you get a motion a second and then.
My
additional
motion,
correct.
add some to it. I just need to ask a procedural question, if that's okay.
A motion and a second, and I understand you wish to amend, so you would make a motion to amend.
So moved.
So that's a motion on the minute. No, motion to approve.
Motion to approve, and then I'll amend it.
Motion to approve.
Ask my question, I guess.
So.
We need a
This is
second,
To approve the minutes?
No,
it's
no,
not a
I
vote.
give me the discussion.
so we need a second.
I'll make a second.
Thank you.
So now are there any additions or corrections?
Corrections for a motion to amend. Trustee Flapper.
I just, for Kim, I have a procedural question. I just was looking over, I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I don't really know fully what transpired with. For instance, item 6, there was a letter that was read and it wasn't submitted into the minutes. I don't. Is there a reason it wasn't?
So there was a discussion in regards to whether or not some stuff that was on that letter wanted to be posted. So what we need to do, the letter was put in the packet separately, but it will be added to the minutes once we make the motion to amend it. Then we do a vote for it, and then the letter will be added in the minutes.
You said there's what discussion was there?
There was just some disagreements about stuff that was inside the letter.
By who?
Or how to, excuse me, or how, if the practice is to include everything that is said verbatim or to include summaries. And
Okay,
past
I
practice,
guess I don't understand why President Gustafson's initial letter from the previous meeting was included in the entire thing, and then this letter was not.
It will be.
But it's not.
Attorney,
Once I publish it, it will be. The only thing that was different, it was added in the packet, but that's not the final draft. That's just a draft.
I guess I don't understand why.
So what it is like,
just 1 second. Attorney Reed will answer your question.
Comment on, so in the meeting where the veto was presented, statute requires a mayor is going to veto a motion, a resolution, or an ordinance that mayor is required to present the written reasons why they're doing it. So it's mandatory, it's a statutory requirement. And so it's natural that would be then presented and, arguably included, although there's much discretion on the part of the clerk's office in terms of managing the minutes. You never have to do verbatim minutes. You can have more descriptions of certain things and less descriptions of other routine. Motion was made, seconded, discussion was had, it was approved, 6-0, whatever. So in the last meeting, and while I wasn't there, I of course went back and watched the meeting and saw what happened. Well, at the meeting, I think it was presented as a letter presented by trustee Sima.
Yes.
I come to learn maybe it was written by a non-board member.
It's time out.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was bottom of the letter. No, I have not seen the letter.
This is my letter.
Well, you would see the letter if it was in the.
And yeah, I'll
Now,
know.
it should be.
And I was told that I was told.
that.
You brought it up.
The letterhead at the very top says from Sharon Simon,
Doesn't make
such
a
and
difference.
such a date, just like you asked what was on the letterhead, that was on the letterhead. Then secondly, it identifies the subject response, and below that, it says to sign. So that's the letterhead.
This
That's
is
all
my,
that letterhead
I have
is.
an internal email. And I have my own shared account with my wife. She has nothing to do with it. It's on that.
I own my error, I accept that. If that's the case, I
These
understand.
accusations are being made
To
and
you.
they're false.
I didn't really perceive it as an accusation. I
Well,
perceived it
she
as
said,
here's what the letter.
it just said that because my wife's name was on there. That this shouldn't be submitted.
The resolution,
that's not-
the resolution of this issue is simply motion to amend the minutes to include the letter that was read in, like the letter from my son, motion to amend the minutes, well, include that.
I just
That gets
want to
seconded.
clarify
Yeah,
one thing.
that
You
gets-
said there was a
that-
discussion. You are the village clerk, it is your office. Who did you have that discussion with and why wasn't it included?
Well, there was discussions between a lot of people, which I will not name names, okay? I did reach out to an attorney that is from the clerks and, some people think that it was a personal attack. And I have no say in that, I have to stay neutral.
So then why was,
It is included and it will be, but I was advised by the attorney that the board takes precedent over whether or not the letter goes in. So once you vote on it, it will be put in.
And of course, any discussion that the clerk may have had with anyone after the meeting or outside the meeting is not relevant. That's not something that would go in.
But if somebody's telling her not to put something in,
That-
that's
that's
relevant
completely
because that is
independent.
an open meetings violation. And if it's one of these.
No,
board
that's not an
members on
open
this
meeting.
board,
It wouldn't be an open meeting violation. It may be inappropriate for a little bit.
Actually, I looked up the law and I read through different cases that happened and it is.
Well, when you say it, I'd have to see the time, what you would do.
since my wife was brought up, it concerns my letter, I want to explain what happened. I submitted the request to have my letter to the clerk. I let the village president know as well that I would like my letter put into the minutes. And I specifically asked that. It was not put in the minutes. The explanation I got is that Carol felt it was a personal attack against her and that she didn't want the minutes in there. Subsequently, subsequently, she directed Kim to contact I&L, other lawyers, and make this decision on her own. What's interesting, if you read the minutes, it refers to what Justin was saying, that trustee Broda read it and we had a resident respond to it. So, but it doesn't say what the meaning is. It says that Carol Gustafson finds it appalling and objectionable. It has William Babcock saying that he doesn't agree with it. So the reader, why would that not be in there? Because you're referencing it in every other instance, this letter. And you cannot, how does the reader, how's that right to release minutes that doesn't have that statement in it? And why do I have to vote to get those minutes on when we already requested it? That's not right. It's not fair. I specifically asked for it to be on there. And it does not give a full representation of what happened, good, bad, ugly, whatever the thing is. It is freedom of speech and it is the ability to have that in there, even if it's paraphrased, but it was completely omitted and it was completely censored.
And I appreciate your outrage and your comments. The minutes are what they are today. And to correct them, we simply need a motion to amend the minutes to include the letter. I mean, that's all that can happen today. But we can't unring a bell, we can't
Well, there
rewrite.
just seems to be inconsistency.
So we,
So,
Well,
is what I'm asking.
So going forward, there won't be any discrepancies or anything. I do know now, and I do have someone to reach out to that has given me the clarification of any questions that I have going further. So,
I just.
I appreciate that.
No
Just because even,
I mean, I'm
Even
looking at
minutes that I-
minutes, so I don't know.
I understand that, that's why I'm
Yeah.
understanding your office, not telling you what to
No,
do.
I
understand because
I
even
understand.
the meeting before that, you know, under, what was it? Purchasing statement, everybody's statement was made in minutes, but not mine. So that's another discrepancy that I see, right? It's not just this instance, so
Right.
I'm just understanding where you're coming from, and if there's somebody behind the scenes telling me, hey, I don't want this in there because I feel it's a personal attack, that's not their right to come and tell you how to do your job.
Right.
Your office is your office. I can't tell you how to do your job. I understand that I can vote on this and put it in there. But I'm just understanding where you're coming from. I want to make sure that you're getting help that you need. And
I am,
make sure
I am, thank you.
And
I've reached out to Joe's helped me tremendously. Carol has helped. Janelle has helped.
There's no legal advice on this. though, just
No
clarify.
legal advice, I'm sorry, not on that.
Well,
Just in general about getting help. No, he asked if I was getting help and he, you know, I have been getting help, you know, to help me do the job that I was elected to do. So, yes.
And
So
I
thank you.
totally support the Clerks Association giving you the advice to contact the lawyer that they kind of have online.
Yep.
It's one of the best firms in the state regarding municipal law, and get some advice on how to deal with these things. That's absolutely appropriate.
so the overall message had always been to follow what is generally done. If there are summaries, there are summaries. If it's verbatim, it's verbatim. So it's establishing a pattern. And we had been both places.
So if someone.
And I just want to add one other thing. I wish to add one other thing. If there had been anyone here in the audience who stood up in public comment and attacked any of you personally, as which you expressed your opinion, I would not have allowed that to happen. So let's move forward here. As stated, there is the main suggestion or the motion to amend those minutes and include that letter. So that's the vote.
I hate to interrupt though, but if somebody from the public stood up here and said anything, that's their freedom of speech. to
No,
say
not,
things.
not to attack people personally. It is not, it is out of.
If we had it in the record, somebody could judge if it was personal time.
I mean, I will say, I have been in meetings in McChesney Park back in the day when it was a little more controversial than it is today, where we have gavelled a citizen down who comes to the podium and just personally attacks a trustee. That is not for the good of the village. That is not stating anything relative to a matter that was before the board. If you're just standing up to call somebody a jerk and you think they're in other words that are inappropriate, you're out of order and please sit down. I mean, I've seen that done in more than one municipality when someone goes very dark.
Well, President.
I'm not saying
It wasn't-
what
so
happened
I'm
last 2
taking
weeks ago
offense.
went very dark.
I'm taking offense, you're saying that this is a personal attack. If you would have everyone read it, people can judge if it's a personal attack.
Well,
It's
it'll
not
Fine.
censorship.
Yes, thank
So,
you.
so for you to say that there was a personal attack is wrong.
Well, let's include it in the minutes with a motion to amend the minutes to include it.
Yes.
And can I just want to get one clarification? So in the future, going forward, if any letter or document is read into the minutes, do we need to take a vote to make sure that it is put in the minutes, or do we wait till after to see?
After a
if the
formal
discre-
request was made,
Right.
after a formal
I mean,
request.
do we need to take a vote?
The clerk has indicated what she plans to do.
Kim, did you feel this personal attack?
I have to stay neutral with this.
Why didn't you have to reach outside then?
No, because I mean, I will defend you on that because she doesn't know. She doesn't, you know, I understand that portion of it, but I mean, I'm just making sure that there's not something happening that where somebody is coming and telling you how to do your job because you're not appointed, you're elected. You know, you don't answer to us, you don't answer to the village president.
Thank you.
We don't answer to you, we don't answer to her, she doesn't, you know, that's the way it is, we're all elected. And if somebody did stand here, like Rhoda said, we're not protected from somebody telling us something. whether they're personally attacking us or not.
But I think there is a line that can be crossed if you're.
I understand that, if there's threats made or something, so.
Read the statement and see if you think it's.
Yes, I mean, I will, I did watch the video, so I heard it.
Anyway, for time's sake, I'd like to amend my motion to include.
Well, make a motion to include that. Yeah, that's right, you don't have to amend your motion, you just need to make a motion to include the, but.
I don't have to amend the motion I already made. I make a motion that we include trustee Simon's letter into the actual minute.
Second.
So, you can do an all those in favor on that, or you can do a roll call, and it's up to you.
Clock,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now you can do a vote on the main motion, which is approve the minutes as amended.
Okay, me,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Clock.
Yes.
Next item, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to make public comment? If you do, please stand and state your name for the clerk. There'll be an opportunity later. Right, going on to President's Report. At this time, it's my honor to introduce to all of you Joe Caltagirone, who will be sworn in as a Village of Roscoe police officer. And Chief Hawley, we want to.
So,
Yeah.
Joe Calderoni, and he is actually just left at 11:30 this morning, the Rockford City Police Department after 26 years of service. 12 of those, he just left as a detective for the agency. And ready to be on the road on Friday to start his FTO program and hit the road. So hopefully in 2-3 months, he'll be by himself and another officer on the road. He lives in the area, has 3 adult children, and he's looking forward to this new role and this new adventure in life. So
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I state your name.
I, Joel Caltagirone,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as police officer
as police officer
of the Police Department of the Village of Roscoe,
of the Police Department of the Village of Roscoe,
Winnebago County,
Winnebago County,
Illinois,
Illinois,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's see.
Just, just hand it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna step up here real quick.
You sign that quick.
I'm gonna sign your oath of office. Right there.
You get the new color. Three.
Thank you. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll see you.
Come back.
I'll zoom in real tight here. You guys
Yeah.
have to move.
Dude.
Excellent.
You on the road. All right. Take care.
On to item number 3, cash report and bills. I have before you. This evening. Expenditures of $117,591.39. Excuse me, that was payroll. Bills total $145,328.08. Payroll to repeat, $117,591.39. Making total expenditures for this evening for your approval, $262,919.47. There were no motor fuel. Well, yes, there were. Oh, no motor fuel expenditures this evening. So the motor fuel account balance is $2,005,089.36. And as you know, we have some salt purchases coming out of that, we have a bunch of expenses and dollars reserved for road projects. So may I have a motion to approve the expenditures for this evening?
I have a few questions for the board.
Motion first, then a second.
Motion. Second.
Okay, questions regarding the bill?
Hold up, right, and who was the second? Clark?
That's fine.
Questions regarding the
Okay,
bill?
I'm gonna submit a Place Foundry invoice that was received from the village, in August, or actually it's July 30th, it's in a place that I can pass this around. But I'm looking for, $3,408 being reimbursed to the village by Place Foundry for services that they did not perform. So I'm gonna summarize, August 5th, we presented a non-itemized bill, it's a line item for an amount of $54,238 for architectural services by Place Foundry. We approved the bills, we didn't see them, the line item, but approved them because we wanted to pay the bills. At that time, I asked Joe for his itemized bill. So on 8/7, we received the itemized bill and there was a charge for addition of an EV station design and a sector service for the amount of $33,480, which we did not ask Place Foundry for. At the August 19th meeting, I questioned the village president and administrator about the change to charge for it to be reimbursed for the bill. And they said that they did not authorize this. Place Foundry arbitrarily, it seems, put this on our bill and we paid for it. On 8/20, I asked Attorney Green to look into it and asked Joe to look into it. On September 20th at the board meeting, which I was attended, but I read the minutes or saw the minutes, is Joe Anderson of the Place Foundry was asked by Trustee Wright as to why the EV station was added, and he said it shouldn't be stated. Should have been paid for or submitted or paid for. So my question is, why this bill was invoiced, it was paid. We need to have our money back. And I'm looking for that to be included as income or receivable within the budget. I think it's a misuse of funds. I think we need to have our money back. Why did they bill us for something that we didn't ask for?
May we have an opportunity to check, was the check, and I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if the check was cut for that full amount or for something way less than,
Not knowing.
or if they, what was listed bills was for something less than this. So can we go back and look?
Seems like they have the invoice for that taken off that.
Well,
Well, that was
The amount- I think Joe explained last time, I think the amount's probably gonna be the same, but we can certainly take off the separate.
but why, my question is, why were we billed for this from the vendor if we didn't ask for it?
How is the amount the same if it's services that aren't supposed to be done that we got billed for? How is the amount the same regardless of what's in the line items?
I think we can have them adjust the invoice if you
Well, the
like.
question is-
I think he's addressed it that
Well,
way.
he said, well, we're not charged, he said, well, we weren't told to do it, obviously, we have the information. Would you like the information? So I'd love to see the information, so we paid for it, he didn't say we didn't pay for it, so.
Why were we charged? I think it's sort of, padding the bill or,
It was my understanding that this was going to be rolled back, so I will call it
I
answer.
mean, the total amount we're gonna pay is gonna be the same.
But on their bill,
Yeah, next.
but on their bill for this cycle that we're approving today, there's no credit for that amount, the bills that.
Bills can be bills from Place Foundry.
There's two bills in there for placement.
This is the confusing we keep getting. So this is Place Foundry Design, different company than Place Foundry LLC. So the only bills you have in front of you today are the Place Foundry LLC bills, not the architecture firm. So we can absolutely get as a credit, shown as a credit on the next bill, if you like, or a check.
The check, and I want interest.
Well, I don't, you're gonna get that, but we can get, and so we put it as a credit on the next
Why
bill.
was this submitted, why was it approved, and why did we have it as a line item to see when we voted for it? We voted for it in good faith because we had to pay the bill. And it was.
If there's ever questions, I mean, I asked, yes.
Doing it right now.
After the fact, yes, but we
Yeah,
will
but
get
we
this,
didn't
this
know.
will be as a credit, which he explained, this will be, we can put this as a credit on the next bill. That way, the total amount is gonna be the same regardless, so I guess that's, I don't know. what the question was.
Jen Green, how.
I'm sorry, I don't. Not in the weeds on how the billing works for Place Foundry LLC versus Place Foundry Architecture.
Well, I want to point out one thing, Joe, if we look at the page 6 of the itemized bills. There's two bills for Place Foundry LLC. This invoice says Place Foundry LLC.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, every time they bill us, it's the same company billing us. They're not saying Place Foundry Architecture, Place Foundry Consulting. That's probably why we're confused on why is so much going out over and we're like, wait, what's this? We're trying to slow that.
I mean, I'll put all the contracts in, put the invoices in, just realize, I mean, that's Roscoe Pop-Up Shops, Joe Anderson, that's the architecture firm who we hired to design the retail pop-up shop.
But why, don't you think it's, in due respect, nefarious that we would be billed for something that we didn't ask for and it's itemized? I mean, why would they put that on there? I mean, to me, that's unethical on their part to.
I think they used a consultant and they were doing a pass-through on the item for their consulting firm.
But
It has to be explained.
So what are they gonna put in its place? Because you're saying the bill's not gonna change.
We can get a credit for that. I mean, they're still doing the lump sum for the whole design project. They're doing that lump sum project, that lump sum amount for the design. So the total bill is going to be the lump sum that the board approved. We can have them show it as an invoice credit if you like, and then
Can we show, like Carol said, can we show that the money?
invoice credit.
I mean,
Well,
specifically for this, did we send them a check for $54,238? Did we send them a check for that?
We'll see if there is an
I-
invoice to that.
I guess like the
and
next
if-
day, yes.
and
All right,
if-
so we sent them a check for that, and this is on that itemized check that we sent them. So this bill shouldn't have been 5483, it should have been 51,100, because you deduct what they shouldn't have put on there. It shouldn't have been a $54,000 bill, it should have been a $51,000.
So we will reach out to them and ask them to issue the credit for the amount of $3,480, as he said he was going to do. The next time there is a bill.
I've asked on the 20th, and I've asked before, so I just don't feel comfortable with Place Foundry if they're gonna be invoicing us for things that we didn't have, so that's my opinion.
So we will monitor very carefully, and as I said, I'll call Joe Anderson and tell them that we expect. First, I get you the check number for verification that it was for this amount. And then indication that he will follow up with credit, as he said, all of these meetings, and that it will clearly show that in the next invoice that they submit for whatever stage phase of work they're doing in the
Well,
pop-ups.
I would prefer they just grant us a check. We gave them.
That's,
Alright,
I had one other question that Hutchison was pulled. Do we know a reason why?
Yeah,
they pulled?
what?
Yeah, I know what's going on.
it's full, because we didn't have the detail on that. So those are for the, I think we explained last time for the HSIP grant. Highway
May.
Safety Improvement Program.
Okay.
That's the one on there, and the other part, we had to do a exhibit for us for it.
That was that May, back in May.
yeah,
And this is the only bill from them? That's.
There's two bills on there.
One from
There's two amounts.
July 11th and one
Yeah.
from August 28th.
That's the only bill. It's only. That's
The only task they did.
Task they've done for us, was for that HSIP grant. The reason, yeah, like I say, the reason it was pulled last time is because when we got the invoice, it didn't have the detail, I mean, make sure that exactly what it was for, so that's why we pulled it, it's in the bills, you got.
Any other questions about bills? There was a motion and a second to approve the expenditures with those follow-up actions. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
me,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Rhoda.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, item number 5, year-to-date revenues and expenditures. 2 weeks ago, you were given a hard copy of that with the notation that the treasurer would address that. And those of you who were absent also had a copy. So I'm going to ask Treasurer Olson,
You want to go over the audit after that?
highlights first, your pick.
I can do the budget actual first. Let's just do that. We'll go on.
Okay.
This is through July 31st, about 58%. And I think the items of note here, you should have, I think so the revenue itself. Yeah, so use tax, obviously, we have a budgeted number, but the state come back and said they're gonna take some of that money back, so that's gonna be low over time. That's account 3211, you'll see that's at 27%, that's not gonna change, that's just gonna be there all. Thank God we have interest coming in, we're gonna be way over that again, 4%, $8 million, that's pretty good. So that's pretty, we're at 62% there. Property taxes are all within reason. Page 2, we look at the expenditures, we're about 40%. I think history through July, usually you don't spend as much, you kind of ramp up in the middle of the year, spend more in the middle of the year, so there'll probably be some catch up there. Let's see, page 4, clerk's office, 51%. Clerk's office, 50%, it's just paid pretty much. Liability insurance are about 54%. Page 5, planning and zoning, we're about 38%. Resources are about 53%. Village board, we're about 60%. Economic development, about 24%. Public works, we're about 42%. Police, we're about 49%. And then parks and recreation on page 9, we're about 25%. Obviously, I think they spend more money in the summer, so that's gonna catch up. Obviously, you guys had it. If you have any questions, you can answer now. I can answer it and come back to you. Otherwise, so now, except for certain revenue items, things seem fine. You know, things you don't know, it's get excited and take the money and.
And when you make your revenue projections for 2026, are there any generalities of the use tax going down
I would
and
say use tax,
motor fuel?
I use IML, the motor fuel will probably go down. I'm assuming sales tax is probably gonna be down some. I'm just guessing because they give me numbers what to base off of. PPRT. That's always one they can take, but that's went down. If you look over time, it was like 350 and 22, and now it's probably gonna be more like 200 this year. So it just depends on state video gaming. Going up every year, so looks like it's probably gonna go up again. Guess we'll see how the casino up north does. Let's see.
So as Treasurer Olson indicated, as you go through this, if you have any specific questions as you look at line items, shoot him an email.
Yes.
Regarding the audit, in 2 weeks, we will have Wendy Unger,
Yes.
who will appear virtually to present the audit, but please take a look at the documents. However, I've asked Trustee Olson to give us some highlights.
I'll just touch on it. There's 2 letters. They have a governance letter, which is the smaller one. I'll go over that in a second. There's the audit
a lot of things going on here. They're going to come in and do a little more detail than what I'm going to. Page, they call it I through II, that's their opinion. That's basically what you pay for. It's a clean opinion. Good thing. We go all the way to the back. This is what you hire me for, as far as I'm concerned. Page 57 and 58, that's the internal controls. There's no issues. That's a good thing. If you have a very good staff, that's not me, that's Ann who does a lot of that stuff. She does a lot of the accounts payable, she does the payroll, all those things, never find any issues, so she does an excellent job.
I think the other good news to share is the level of funding that our pension fund is at.
We can do that. Actually, that's very good.
It's exemplary compared to some other municipalities.
Police pension. There's so many things here.
I should have noted
Page 41.
41, thank you.
42, actually, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, so we're at 72%. You look at 2015, we're 51%. Obviously, the police pension changed for the last couple of years. Now it's run a little more like IMRF, where it's all handled down at the state. They mix fund of however they're investing the assets. In the past, we had but the pension board had an advisor and they ran it like an investment advisor. That's not happening anymore. And the state has their own people. So 72%, I think that's doing very well. The 72%, there's a calculation each year of when that needs to be funded. And if I remember correct, this coming up year, that goes, the amount you have to pay into it goes down. So that's a good thing.
So as investments go up,
Yes,
our contribution goes down.
as the investments go up here, yeah, if you remember back in, was it 2008? So is it, I think I'm wrapped, everything else had catch up, say it. So. Yeah. And the other one, it's called a governance letter. I'll let them really kind of speak to it, but this is, I'm an auditor by trade, so this is what I do for a living, but. There's is very detailed, which I think is good. They kind of explain what they're testing, why they're testing it. And, they test management override controls, improper revenue recognition, things like that. There's no issue there. So, they tested cash investments, payroll, and capital assets, no issues there. Obviously, Steve Tronquist works with me. He's not here every day. They didn't have an issue with it. They just wanted to make sure we knew that, somebody needs to review the reconciliations, but I still have him working. So I don't think that's an issue at all. So he just kind of does it, not as much as he did in the past. So, and I've taken over things that he's done for us. So there's a lot of things in here, but that's really the gist of it. And then there's a rep letter, which we signed saying everything we gave them is good.
I just wanted everyone to acknowledge or appreciate the fact that you do a great deal of work here. It's a lot of back and forth with Ann and the Baker Tilly personnel, the
Yes.
request for information. And it's constant over several months.
Right.
And a great deal of work. The testament, though, is that for several years running, you've had a very good report. And not that they say, hey, you get 5 gold stars.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the fact that there are no recommendations
Right.
Is a good recommendation. So again, thank you for all of your labors associated with this.
Absolutely.
Well done. So again, the audit itself will be addressed, and any questions that you have of Wendy Younger in 2 weeks, please write them in the margins. These are copies for you to keep. So she'll be glad to answer them.
Again, if you have a question on this, let me know. Yeah. Answer it.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Regarding that? All right, moving on, then. Item number 6. May I have a motion to approve resolution 2025 R 39, authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Place Foundry LLC to provide economic development consulting services to the village of Roscoe. This is cleaning up some of the paperwork from the last time. There was conversation at the committee of the whole, but not a formal vote at the board level. At the board level, so there needs to be a motion in a second,
And then discussion.
then discussion, then a vote.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion,
Yeah, I think that we definitely have done a great job in need a Main Street Alliance. I do not feel comfortable with what happened with Place Boundary, that they charged us $34. And there's no reason for this. It's unethical. I don't believe it is something that we should be paying for. We've never gotten a response from them. And I don't feel that we should move forward with this organization. I don't need to do it, but we can make it, make it work with another organization. But right now, if somebody, doesn't ask for a retaining wall on their lawn and all of a sudden they get one and they get charged for it, why would you go back and start using them again? So my opinion is, we should not allow this to go through with Place Boundary right now. Because of it's still a place that, there's no explanation for it. And I'm concerned that you may be billed again in.
anyone else?
I
Trustee.
differ a little with that, Mike, only because we had the work going for so long. This was an extension to the end of the year. I'd like to hold their feet to the fire, keep it where it is, make sure there's something tangible by year's end. If not, be several times starting January 1st. That's my opinion on this, because the work's already been done. We've heard from the community about that they want to keep moving forward with momentum. I get what you're saying about the bill. I'm still irritated with that, but on the same note, Joe keeps pointing out that one's the consulting, one's the design. This is more on the consulting end, which, I know it's semantics, but that's where I stand for this.
Anyone else?
I'm concerned with the public money being used continuing with this group for a nonprofit group.
I think that's what this one is, right? This is the one that we had those two options. This would be the additional.
Yes,
Or no, it's
we went
not,
ahead
yeah.
with the,
So we already went ahead with the other one. We chose not to do this option. So this was, I think, Jesse, right, asked that it's back on the board, but
we
we've
voted.
already sort
Voted
of-
to continue with the with the
90.
little
I know.
all that area.
And we didn't,
correct.
and the committee of the whole didn't go with the,
And then there was no discussion about it at all at the board meeting, so.
So as I said, it requires board action, so this is why it's brought up. Anyone else have an opinion?
Well, if we don't go along further with it, what happens then with the businesses that have been involved so far?
They are on autopilot.
Remember at our last meeting, you said there were possibly other groups that could help them, and have they confirmed that they'll help them?
I can confirm that if you wish.
Would you do so? To tell the board? Who, when are they meeting? What are they doing?
there's no new news on it. I haven't moved on it until we vote, but I can do so.
Who are these partners?
We already did full disclosure on this before.
You had one name, you said you had a group.
It's the Beloit 2000 folks. Their board will step in and help us along with Mr. Jim Packard, who formed the group.
And will there be a fee for that?
No, sir. We can hold some meetings, probably at North Point, and they'll give us as much guidance. And how many people do we
Meaning
have?
the alliance.
Right.
The alliance. The independent alliance.
Can I amend my motion and lay this over until we have the confirmation? They're willing to have that discussion next meeting, sure, we come back and tell us.
So you want to table it?
Can I?
Motion to table?
Okay. I would lay over to.
I mean, the motion was made, the motion was seconded. The two ways to do it would be, motion to table it,
or withdraw the motion, withdraw the second, and then just
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table it.
second. And then approval of that motion would automatically bring it back to the next.
Still have to do.
You have to vote on the motion to table.
All right, Babcock,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Sima.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it's, I mean, I don't know how often you table stuff, but technically it comes back at the next meeting. Pending on the motion, I mean, you don't have to, I mean, it's there, there's already a motion, there's already a second, you decide what to do, you know what I'm saying?
So
So
we have the bill paid by the next meeting as well.
check.
Outstanding invoice. Right. Do we have this outstanding invoice from Place Foundry paid by the next meeting? The check from them,
To check to the village.
yes, we have to send the next meeting.
Item number 7. May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-19, approving a map amendment from the CR Retail and Service Commercial District to the R1 One Family Residential District for properties known commonly as 12052 Johnsey Drive and 12126 Johnsey Drive. The applicant is attorney Amy Silvestri, representing the Purdy family. As indicated in your agenda, the ZBA recommended approval of this, and this was gone through committee. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Attorney Silvestri is here. If there's any questions?
This was just like right across the street.
Yeah,
Just right.
Yes.
Justin and William, Justin, Mike Simon were here at this meeting, so we just went through with that.
The residential classification would be compatible with the other things that aren't done in that neighborhood.
Right, yeah, I was just visually looking at the map and.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments?
Sima,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 8, may I have a motion to approve resolution 2025 R44, approving the final plat number 4 of F&D Connect Creekside being a replat of 12052 Johnsey Drive and 12126 Johnsey Drive.
Second.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Sima,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 9, may I have a motion to approve resolution 2025 R45, approving the bid specifications and bid letting for Main Street pedestrian crossing project.
I will make a motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Questions, discussion?
Just, there's a lot for that crosswalk. I
Well,
know it, I know it has. been done,
Required
but
by
I know
IDOT.
it's so much required for it, but
Yeah, it's a lot. You know,
To tear it up.
unfortunately, it's a very small scope of work. It's not part of a larger project, so we're anticipating to see some higher pricing. We did use Fairgram did tabulations from previously completed project to try to, get as close as we think those costs are going to come in as.
We're typically just paint a crosswalk on there. However.
I asked that question months ago.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, this is the Winnebago County Highway Department's intersection, because the main thoroughfare, which is, Bridge Street, which then turns into like a Hananiga, I think, no, not Hananiga, I'm sorry. Belvedere, yep. That is their intersection. They want things to be compliant with current specifications, absolutely understand that. So we worked through some revisions with them. I will say, yeah, $50,000 for a couple of ADA ramps and crosswalk striping, it does seem high. Unfortunately, that is the price.
Did I read that correctly on there, that the striping from that second one, that's where the parking is basically to the bike path? But there's no platform needed on the bike path side,
Correct.
Like we need a platform on the side where there is no
There's
side.
nothing, and that is IDOT policy. If you have an ADA ramp, you have to have a receiving ramp essentially for that. Yes.
Even though there's no.
Right.
That's that grade, there's no.
Even though there's no mainline sidewalk, you have
There's
to
no
provide.
grade there, there's no nothing there, it's right on the blacktop.
Don't argue with IDOT.
I know, I get that, it's just,
No,
it's just one of those things that's,
I mean,
that money can be spent.
Have to do it.
What prompted us to have to do this?
It's
They got a lot of people.
so we have a lot of
crossing.
people that park on that, it would be the west side of the road, I think on-street parking, and they get out of their car, and because that's the side that they're driving, they just walk across the street. It is unsafe. If we want to make it safer, it's providing an actual crosswalk, striped crosswalk for them. There was one there previous, well, I'm sorry, not on the southern leg where you see the green striping. There was one there previously. Talking with the county, they wanted that striping was out of date, needs to be compliant with the current specifications, which is what you see there. That striping compared to just regular paint striping is not cheap. It's a little bit more expensive. And yeah, unfortunately, it is required. This is a fully compliant, crosswalk, pedestrian access area.
Will it be required eventually for the other two corners to have that? Would it be better to try and bid it all at once then, if that's something that might happen down?
So we could, I think our thinking was let that be a developer driven project. So whether or not, if the village does something on the corner that we are in the process of owning, then we would probably include sidewalk improvements into that project. And then the other corner that's privately owned currently, if there was a developer, our ordinance does state that, sidewalks have to be constructed. So at that time, we would come in, we would actually make them install those.
And that other corner doesn't really have a place to go right now. There's a lot of road cuts. There's a lot of different cuts into there. It's really not.
We had talked about
have a crosswalk there, I guess.
We had talked about putting a
Yeah.
crosswalk there, and actually,
We talked
Graham's
about it.
original conceptual design did show a crosswalk on that other leg as well. But because there's no mainline sidewalk and because that is not going to be an area that is accessed by pedestrians, it's just an empty lot. We felt it was good to save that cost, which was not insignificant. And just do the access routes that we know that we have pedestrian traffic.
Was there a safety study with that flashing four-way stop? Seeing how it's not a permanent signal, where you could have a button with the crosswalk. I mean, as with the, you're at the mercy of people right now, all looking to see whose turn it is, right?
Correct.
And then you have people walking through that crosswalk. They're just gonna assume that the person stopped there is gonna stay stopped as they're crossing in front of them.
I will say that an independent safety study has not been done.
I guess
Crosswalks in the state of Illinois, even if there's not, flashing signals, anything like that, it doesn't even necessarily have to be at a stop sign. Illinois state law states that if there is an established crosswalk, vehicles have to stop. So, I mean, from a safety perspective, unfortunately, it's if we hear of that happening and drivers not minding those, then that needs to be, police honestly writing some tickets, or we talk about long-term upgrade, and that will be part of, the Main Street reconstruction project is getting something a little bit more accessible, a little bit more safe in that location. This is the interim solution to take care of the issue of we currently have pedestrians that are parking on that roadway that are just walking across without any sort of crosswalk marking.
Yes, we also, sorry.
So slim to none chance the county would pitch in to, since it's their part of their.
Yeah. We're driving that, so that I think typically no, if they had requested it or they wanted to see additional improvements beyond what we were proposing, that would have been the time to have that discussion, but since this is our initiated project, that's.
And it's, we were out there when we were looking at this. I mean, it's where the green is, that's where the bike path is essentially going through there. That is marked, very, very faded markings there, and it's a used path. It's a very well-used path. When we were out there, people were coming by us, the whole time we were out there. And that's one of the reasons too. I mean, obviously it's see what the bids are. We don't have to do this project, but just because as we see, and then Velvet Robot's gone obviously now, but I don't know that it's even as much as Velvet Robot as it's keep going to the beauty place across the street. That's a lot of it, a lot of traffic going into there, as well as just that bike path going across, having sort of a formal crossing for it with stop lines and everything else on it. Just trying to make it a little more formal, a little safer, hopefully, but,
So I remember when you first brought this up, we will have to tear this out when we redo the road, or was it designed so we don't have to?
The profile of that intersection and all the corner ADA ramps will require reconstruction,
Right.
unfortunately, yeah. So I believe we're dropping the roadway, either dropping or increasing the roadway profile in that area, so tying those in without abrupt changes to the grade is going to be difficult. So that's why we try to keep it, I know $50,000 doesn't seem minimal, but we try to keep it as minimal as possible while meeting IDOT standards, MUTCD standards, and then the Winnebago County's asked for making that fully compliant.
Why now, did they ask?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, how come this wasn't asked for before?
When you make improvements, you need to bring it up to the current regulations section.
so yeah, well, you see that for all of our new intersections, we'll all have those ADA ramps on them. We start putting those in as we are doing roadways.
If you all recall, was it about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when the board here made a decision that they were not going to define a residential road program as the space between the Y and this intersection? And at that time, there would have been the opportunity to do that length of road and the intersection, and perhaps without the segments, costs would have been a little bit better. And that decision was made by this board. So Brandon mentions this is an interim. There still is the need to do that whole length of street, but it's so expensive. So it comes down to what segments or phases can we afford and what priority. And so we've heard that this intersection is a dangerous intersection. How long do you want to wait? We can see what the prices come in at, and is it something that if the village can afford to do, is it something that physically can be done this season, Brandon, or would it have to wait?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We set a completion date on this project of November 14th. When you're talking about actual working days, it's maybe less than a week of actual physical working days for a contractor to be out there. But there's a lot of utilities to be worked around. It's going to be not a super fast moving project, but a week of working days. Yeah, absolutely. This can get done this year.
So again, is it part of looking at, you mentioned the capital improvement plan and Main Street from McDonald Road to this would be part of that. So this could be woven into it if the board chose not to do it this year, but perhaps next year.
Absolutely.
Holistically.
Yep, we can look at that as part of a holistic.
But it's a risk reward. So when you want to do it this season or wait until the larger project next year.
So we always have the option, just so you guys know, we're gonna get bids. You do not necessarily have to award the project to the lowest bidder. If you feel like the pricing comes back in and it's not appropriate, and you want to delay the project or, push it off completely, that is completely up to you guys.
Can you have an estimated cost of what it would be to redo it from McDonald to this intersection? Just,
I believe we did.
I don't remember
I
the
think it's
number.
about $1 million.
So that was not for a full reconstruction, that was for a limited reconstruction within a resurfacing from Rural Edge Drive, which is where the box culvert, everything is based on the drainage areas, all the way up to the Main Street intersection. I want to say that project was somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.4 or $1.5 million.
And it
I'll
was,
try to confirm that by the next
Does
meeting.
that include that into it, or?
I don't think the
Because
sidewalk
intersection's
improvement.
gonna be a lot in itself.
Or just.
Correct.
On the other side.
No, it was on the south side of the intersection, so we were stopping short of these improvements. What I can tell you is that if we do a reconstruction project, we're gonna have a lot more concrete work, curb and gutter, other sidewalks, ADA ramp upgrades. To include this scope in that, you're gonna get a lot better pricing because of the economy of scale. So I don't know what specifically that cost savings would be.
Well, I'd like to know even if just what the entire intersection itself costs to redesign. That way we can just flow the road into it later on as well. That could be an option, right?
So as part of the CIP project that we're working on right now, we're gonna come up with some phasing, essentially high level cost estimates of phasing this project. So at that time, we will include, the intersection in one of those phases. think it makes sense to maybe do it the first one, so you get it all done upfront, but we'll talk with the Peregrine team and come up with some recommended phasing options, and that'll be presented to you in the form of the CIP.
That'd be great. Me, if we could just redo the whole intersection, and then later on, we don't have to tear this $50,000 out. And then spend it.
Yeah, I think my only concern is gonna be how we have to change the profile of that road and lower it or raise it. I can't remember what it is in that specific location, changes all over.
You could just bring cost estimates of what it would be to do the intersection itself.
Okay.
Or the road.
Would you be fine with that in the form of the CIP, or do you want that before the CIP, the capital improvement program?
I'd like it before we make a decision, like, I'm okay with this going out to bid, but I'd like to see it before we accept the bid, if that's what I'm saying. If everyone's okay.
I agree with that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to just simply let this out to bid. And once the bids come in, it's looking at options and costs before construction, correct?
Yes.
Lot,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 10, may I have a motion to approve resolution 2025 R46, authorizing an agreement for additional road patching with Norwest Construction for the coded amount of $28,490 to complete roadway culvert replacements. And those are at 3 locations. They were priced individually, but the group price is, as you see here, a $28,490. Woodchuck Trail, Silver Hawk Trail, and Gilmore and Third Street intersection. Those are the culverts needing replacement.
So moved.
Second.
Babcock,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Lot,
Yes.
Mead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 11, A, have a motion to approve resolution 2025 R47, authorizing establishing the authorized number of full-time employees in each job classification for the Village of Roscoe Public Works Department.
Talked about last time, it's just sort of starting, adding people, subtracting people in our pay, it's just establishing here the authorized positions in each tier.
Tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Mead,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Lot,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 12. May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025 R18, an ordinance amending section, paragraph 2, section 359 of the Village of Roscoe Code of Ordinances, modifying the procedures for the approval of expenditures. This modifies what was passed in 2017 when spending limits were raised from 2,500 to 5,000 spending authorization. Say, and now the red line is to revert to former language.
So moved.
Second.
As discussed and pointed out 2 weeks ago, you have some examples of how the ordinances are processed. You have 2 examples of current expenditures. The expenditures are grouped by category within the budget. Some of the examples given were public works leasing and the account number that has that amount. And what happens is that the public works director, as he needs equipment, gets prices or quotes, taking the lowest one, submits the invoice, and if the invoice is over $2,500, which is his spending limit, then the authorization to go ahead with that daily implementation is signed by either Joe or myself. So by going back to 2,500, then every invoice over $2,499.99 will go to committee of the whole 1 week and village board the next week. Doesn't change any of the internal controls. just slows down the process, and department heads will be submitting their stuff 1 month in advance to get through the 2 meetings.
I have a question about this, just, there's a couple other things that I noticed in the current ordinance, like section D, village president, one trustee can authorize expenditure amounts listed above, any emergency stuff, or 3 trustees. I think that should reflect like village president and 2 trustees. I don't understand why it's just 2 individuals.
Which one?
The emergency expenditure section.
Emergency expenditures. Section, or is it section 35, 31? Could E, I guess.
Oh, the emergency ones, yeah.
Yeah, I will comment, sometimes because in an emergency, the mayor may be on it.
Right, I just, to me, I feel village president and 2 trustees would be better. Just village president and 1 trustee, that way.
Oh, in the first instance.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, I
Three down
understand the
below,
3, yeah.
3 down below.
Like, that makes sense to me,
Got it.
I don't understand just the 2, I guess, and then. Yes, what is the reason for the village president needing expenditures at all, I guess, I don't. With every category, you see our department's heads have expenditures that they're all accounted for with, I don't.
It's part of the internal controls, the second set of eyes on the, if you take a look at, I think I gave you the examples here, the purchase orders. You weren't here.
It was, I was,
But I put it on your desk. You have it now.
I just had budget stuff, I think.
Well, under that are some examples of purchase orders. So,
Oh, it's all around.
yeah, so if you pull it up and look at it. This is what happens. Take, for example, the one that is purchase order 30-2537, it's a single one. Okay, that is the example of getting the sweeper following the fall festival. So account number as shown there, the 01-030-5860 is the account line item in which, in the budget, you authorize $14,000 for rentals. So we know that Troy rents lots of equipment during the year, stripers and also street sweeper. So he needed a street sweeper. He called, got prices, and Tricky Enterprises came up with the $3,000. So what Troy's, if you look at the bottom, it's requested by Troy. And then my signature is just merely to verify and approve the fact that we have paperwork in order and that the line item is identified and it's okay to go ahead and then call Tricky and say show up that day. So it's just a internal double check.
So you have to have
That's all
3
it is.
signatures.
So it always originates with the department head, not the village.
We're gonna go to 500 is your signature, it's 2 signatures. So it's just sort of a tiered.
Double check.
I'd also like to, I mean, if we can, I'd like to add in our. Like, and. Human resources to like $500, I don't. Feel like she should have to come to you guys. for every-
Technically, she's at 25. I think we consider her. Oh, it's never mind, you're right, it's separate.
She's not.
It is separate. No, you're right.
So,
I don't know if it's ever been an issue, I mean, we can absolutely do it.
can we add her in with the chief of police and public works, so. Otherwise, if we could just add her in for $500, I feel, so she can go get office supplies or not have to ask.
Yeah, I mean, $500 at all, it's always gonna require a purchase order.
Yeah.
Where we're signing off on it. So those are never, I mean, so anything $500, she's. With the purchase, she's purchase order, we sign off on that. It's just those additional 2,500, it's the bigger purchases we're talking about. So we can get her for the bigger purchases.
So she can just go to the store and buy something. under
Often, I mean, we're always doing, I mean, we've got, I think Jesse over there does even, I think we've got, Emma will be able to order things, we order office supplies all the time, there's certain like specific office supplies we're buying, there's all sorts of things we're constantly purchasing, all those invoices you see on your Amazon bills. Anything at 500, we'll the department heads authorizing any, really technically, but anything over 500, we're doing a purchase order for. So we're having those signed off on, and then when it hits 2,500, then the department heads also sign off on things. And then if it's 5,000, well, it will be down to 2,500 now, but anything at 5,000, then I'm signing off on it as well. So it's just adding, it's just those steps, sort of oversight. For the-
I guess I would just like to see it in language for being able to authorize things up to $500.
So I'd like to make a suggestion. Excuse me, Justin, I'd like to make a suggestion. Can we send this whole concept of spending back to committee of the whole? And the conversation happen in a draft of the revisions, because there's lots of back and forth here. So that people
Something that we can
see.
just table and I'll bring back with new revisions or.
Yeah, there's a number of options. You've got this ordinance before you. You could pass this ordinance and then at the committee of the whole say, I'd like to talk about some other changes to the purchasing policy. And then develop the other changes and bring that forward. I mean, if this is, it seems to me if this is acceptable, approve this, then have the committee of the whole consider additional modifications. Yeah, that's kind of what, I mean, it's your call. I'm not really my legal.
I'm fine with it. So can I just request that at our next committee, other than tonight, it's October. The first meeting in October, we can talk about adding a trustee to the emergency with the village president, so making it village president, 2 trustees for any emergency stuff, and then adding the HR department head into language, spending up to $500.
Is that a motion?
Well, I don't. think you need-
I'm just asking him to.
The motion would be inappropriate at this moment, because we haven't made a motion.
Yeah.
On the third.
So an emergency, you have 2 trustees.
I think it's just a direction to the committee chair.
Yeah, I'm just asking them to add it. We're all participating.
Well, I feel comfortable with the 2,500. I'd like to vote.
I'd like to make a comment here before we do that.
Sure.
That's appropriate.
Mhm.
So as I understand it, we go through the entire budgeting process where each department presents us based on their past expenditures over a year, and they bring it to us, and then when we approve the budget, we approve that. Now it's up to that. So let's say it's say $15,000 for any department. So we approve that based on their line items. Here's how that 15,000 is going to be spent. So to me, when they go out and spend this, all we would be doing is kind of doubling the effort for us, because we've already approved them for the department to spend that money. So to then go say, okay, they are gonna submit something, it's still gonna go through the same checks and balance, but at 2,500, which now we're gonna be involved in all of those. We're gonna be doing it twice then. Since we already approved the budget at the end of the year, we have to trust the departments that they're gonna spend the money, that they're gonna submit it, and all Joe, I believe, what I understand, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, is once that gets to the threshold of 5,000, all he's doing is checking to make sure it's authorized as part of their budget that we approved. So to me, it's redundant that we're having to lower that, because it's gonna go, everyone's gonna come back to us. We've already approved their budget based on the department recommendation. So that's my.
I'm sorry. Then Joe, after it's been approved by one of you guys, then it comes back to us the following month to pay the bills, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, every bill always will come back to you. Yep, and we've had a discussion before, but if there's ever really a question about, you're not comfortable voting on it, I can always pull it, you can always lay it over.
So we're just putting more effort on the departments. I
So
believe.
that was the issue I had, that's with the place foundry, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, we got the bill, we shouldn't have to ask for a line item on a bill like that. If we would have saw that bill, we would have caught the EV thing. So how do I know to even ask you that? When I look at the bill for Fairground, we have Ace Hardware, right? You know, we get Troy goes to Ace Hardware, there's every line on there what we have. We get a bill for Place Foundry for 58,000, and it's not broken down until after we ask for it. I mean, why do we have to ask for it? It should be done beforehand. We made a mistake by allowing that bill to go through.
I mean, the bill is here, I mean, I guess,
No,
we can always show it to you.
But we didn't see it. When we presented the bills,
Yeah.
okay, it just had one line item. Not until I asked for it after the fact did we get that. This is my whole point, increasing transparency and having accountability will help us. I don't feel that, some unintended consequences of that. So that's really why I'm in favor of lowering it to the 2,500, because we won't be making mistakes like this, and spending $3,000 for another consultant.
So it wouldn't change the place foundry then. What we're changing tonight wouldn't have any effect on that. But I understand your concerns about other
It's about
things.
transparency, it's about having checks. I don't see why the board can't, be involved in that and make sure that we can have an eye on it as well.
I'm just saying is that wouldn't affect this issue.
Well, yeah, there's other issues that would affect though.
Anyone else? We have a motion and we have a second.
Babcock?
No.
Mead,
Yes.
Sima,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Rhoda,
No.
Black.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alright, item number 14. It's not, excuse me, 13. May I have a motion to approve resolution 2025 R48, approving a right-of-way usage agreement with Comcast of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, LLC.
So move.
Second.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Sima.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 14, first reading, you have a resolution 2025 R49, authorizing entering into an agreement with I3 broadband for fiber services for the village, not to exceed $700 for 37 months. So this is a first read. It will come back to you next.
So this is one that has been, we've been trying to get for a long time. Switched over from our current internet providers. We're paying, I think, about $1,400 a month here for internet. So we're stuck with iFiber. Which our venture has a history of that. But we're sort of with that. We've worked through that now where we can cancel that agreement. Our term is up on that finally. I3, we looked at I3 and Metronet. You got those quotes in there. They are both coming down Main Street currently. This will allow us to actually have sort of a direct internet service, or what you maybe consider your normal personal internet service. That's what we will have here now. Currently, what we have is a private loop that goes from here directly to Winnebago County. And then we use Winnebago County's IT department for the actual worldwide web, right? The internet, the outgoing internet itself. So this will get rid of that direct connection with Winnebago County, turning into more of a what you know as standard internet, higher speeds, and it will be much cheaper than we're paying currently. We haven't done this for a while because we were unable to hook into the Winnebago County system through this, but that technical issue's been worked out finally at this point. So we are looking at this is what we're looking for this. We're looking for this internet here. So that's the goal, to get faster service, more consistent service, and sort of avoid some of the outages we've had previously with Winnebago County.
I have one question on that, Joe.
Yeah.
Because this is also where, because the line is coming across the road, so that it burn.
The line goes direct, I think it's directly across the bridge, and that when there's a light pole there, I think that's where it terminates.
But
too.
it had to
It
come
comes
to the
straight across
town, so is there any added cost to us
No.
for them getting the
No.
line to
Nope.
us? That was my,
That's
that
what
was
they
my
do.
only note on that.
Yes, that's what they do. Yeah, you'll see there's a commitment to it. I think it's a 37-month commitment. And that's because
That's the lower.
they're having that expense of burning through.
So they want to lock us in then for 3 years.
So they at least recover their costs on their equipment and their infrastructure coming through.
But do we know how much it goes up after that?
After 37 months.
We don't, but I wouldn't think it will, but we always can get Metronet, I suppose, or we know that Comcast Business is coming down here too, so I think there's more competition. I think these prices go down. Frankly.
So Stratus was gonna keep that, because you said they raised the prices last year.
iFiber, yeah, iFiber was what the village bought into many years ago before there was really much fiber anywhere in the area to sort of encourage fiber through the village. It hooked into all the government agencies essentially. So the schools, us, and the fire department at one point had it. That was called iFiber, sort of a coalition of governments that sort of the state of Illinois sort of put together to try to spread out the fiber. And we go with these main institutions, but then with the hope that private businesses could also then tie into it and use it. Now, as you see, we've got lots and lots of fiber. We've had lots of competitive fiber here, really the last year or so. iFiber, as a sort of semi-governmental coalition, shut down, sold all their stuff, their equipment, all their fiber to Stratus Networks, which is a private provider of these sort of closed loop fiber systems. And that's when our prices went up about a little over double.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. They went up a lot between those 2 years.
So it was good that our contract.
And we were stuck with it. Well, we could have got out of there at that time, but we were stuck with iFiber because we need that bandwidth and we need that direct connection for the police department to get to their.
Didn't they need it also?
Drivers. No, DMV has their own. DMV uses. They have a different. They've got a different provider. I think it's like a great thing, but they don't use a lot of bandwidth. We use a ton of bandwidth here because of police chief. Because of our body cams, right? All of our cameras, our squad cams, our body cams, all that gets uploaded. And we get those reports coming through. I mean, a few cams too, but we get those reports from our system saying, you can tell when an officer gets back to the station because it just like drops everything down to like 85% utilization usually. So they use a ton of bandwidth. So we need to make sure that our provider has a ton of bandwidth. And right now it's directly connected to the county because we also use it for our CAD system and our RMS system, record management system. And that's again tied directly into the county. And I think they also use it for SA's office, maybe. I don't know what else you guys use directly hooked into there for.
Yeah.
Regardless, this way they've got that set up now is we will be able to tie in directly with Wendell County through this, same as we do now. And get all of that uploaded and so those same access to it. And hopefully a little more reliable. We've had some network outages recently. And hopefully it'll make it easier when we add things or remove things because it's an IT issue too of it's lots of different agencies right now has to be coordinated to change anything for our network. So hopefully this will solve that problem as well.
I'm okay with this, but I just have a general question
Mhm.
about fiber in general,
Yeah.
like the public.
Yeah.
Like in Chicory Ridge, I-3 is going to Chicory Ridge and then you go over to Sagewood, like it's Metro.
Yeah, that's
whatever. So are eventually all of them gonna be across the entire village or is it gonna be
Probably
pockets
not.
like that?
What we've seen is it's whoever comes in first. There's some overlap. There definitely is overlap occasionally. But as soon, I mean, Brennan sees when the applications come through, as soon as they sort of realize that there's an area where their competitor is actively digging, not necessarily just permitting, but actively digging. A lot of times those get sort of withdrawn and they sort of
You gotta cover that
readjust
cost,
how
right?
they're gonna do it.
Correct, yeah, so the explanation.
Petition.
Yep, so the explanation that I got from the providers themselves is that generally they do not try to build over each other. They don't want to compete for that market. In certain areas, somehow their marketing team decides we want to maybe build over. So for an example, a few weeks ago, I had one of the providers say, I understand you have permits for this other provider. We're going to pull those applications because we're not going to overbuild. A couple weeks later, they said, scratch that. We're actually now going to move forward in those. So it's all just their decision. As long as they put things in the correct location according to our ordinance. Unfortunately, they will sometimes overbuild and it's just going to be a headache for residents.
So that's your comment.
In certain areas.
Take
That's the thing. They'll end up capitalizing on. certain
Well, no,
areas.
to address that though, it's Spectrum right now. So right now, the majority of people only have either Spectrum they could use or T-Mobile or some, either wireless or I suppose. But so having this sort of high speed, either regardless if it's, one or the other, i3 or Metronet, it's increased the rate, the speed of Spectrum and it's dropped the prices of Spectrum.
Right.
So there's still this competition there, maybe not two fiber companies, but it's
Well, I just
absolutely
don't-
has,
I
yeah.
hate to see the same thing happen where,
Yeah.
Charter at that time, has this entire area and they
Yep.
can charge whatever they want.
Which this has changed a lot. Having this fiber come through has changed a lot, yeah.
Right, so this is a first read and it will appear in 2 weeks for a vote. Right, item number 15, approval of travel expenses and registration for the clerk's conference. You'll see the dollar amount, $1,812.20. It runs October 6th.
Motion just suspend the rules.
Second.
Right?
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Plot,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
me,
Yes.
thank you.
So we have a motion to suspend the rules. Is there a motion to approve the expenditure?
So moved. Second.
Second. Babcock,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Plot,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
me,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
thank you.
We have no questions or reports. So we
Can I allow if we say an update?
regarding, yes,
Yeah, that's just an update. You guys may know I'm part of the Roscoe Gardening Club as well as the village trustee. And you know, I get a message from the Roscoe Gardening Club board that they've decided to respectfully withdraw their participation from the doors and decorating contest for the village. We hope that, you know, it's supposed to be successful. It just wasn't something that we felt about gardening. So we still continue to do the lawn one, but we're gonna remove ourselves from the doors, which is in Roscoe. Practice.
would you kindly reach out to her, ask Renee to send that also to Ian and Janelle, since they were involved with that in the plan.
Sure.
Right, public comment, is there anyone? Yes, would you please stand and state your name? Or
I'm Lucy Kurchak, KRCHAK. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. I just wanted to make a couple observations. One, the last time I attended a meeting, I learned that we allowed work to take place, and that was the painting of the mural without having secured funds. And I was kind of, I couldn't understand how that would happen. Tonight, I've learned that we approved and paid an invoice, a non-itemized invoice. We paid it. Only later, when we asked for an itemized invoice, we learned that it contained a phantom line item. The error was then caught, and still no credit has been remitted from the company. I just, as a retired person who spent many years in business, I find this very sloppy to pay an invoice without checking what you're paying. So I don't know who's responsible for that or how that came to be, but personally, I find that very unsatisfactory. Thank you.
is there anyone else who wishes to have public comment? Right, hearing none, no need for an executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:57.
Aye.
That's.
Good question. Yeah.